Hi students, this is KM Varaprasad. Today we are discussing the database management systems. We are in the UNIT-3 and we are in lesson 3. Now here also we are discussing about the entity relationship models. Now comes to the entity relationship model. This is the third lecture based on the entity relationship model. Now here comes to the different types of entity sets. Some sets are weak and some sets are strong. Now coming to the weak entity set initially. Here an entity set that does not have a primary key is referred to as a weak entity set. Now sometimes a table or an entity set contain some set of attributes. From those attributes, we are unable to create the primary key. For that purpose, that is called as weak entity set. This entity set must be depends on the another strong entity set. Now here comes to the weak entity set. The existence of weak entity set depends on the existence of a identifying entity set. Another identifying entity set is there. It compulsory depends on the identifying identity set. Now here identifying relationship depicted using double diamond. A double diamond is the symbol which is used to specify the identifying relationship. Now coming to the discriminator or partial key of a weak entity set is denoted by dashed lines. Now it is called as a discriminator or partial key. The partial key of a weak entity set is represented by using the dashed lines, not the consolidated line, it is a dashed line. Now coming to the primary key of a weak entity set is formed by the primary key of the strong entity set plus weak entity set sets a discriminator. Here we are using how the primary key of the weak entity set is formed means the primary key of the strong entity set plus one discriminator is from the weak entity set. Here we are preparing one discriminator in the weak entity set. Here the primary key of the weak entity set is the combination of primary key of the strong entity set plus discriminator. Now, same thing continuation here, weak entity sets. The weak entity set is denoted by double rectangle. Double rectangle is the symbol which is used to denote the weak entity set. The discriminator of a weak entity set with a double dashed line. Now, here payment number is the discriminator of the payment entity set. Primary key for payment, that is loan number, payment number. Loan number is the primary key of the another strong entity set. Now coming to this one here, the diagrammatic representation or ER diagram for this one is here loan is there. It is having the loan number is the primary key and comes to the here loan payment. Now here comes to the payment. In that payment number, we are specifying underlined dashed line. Now here loan number is strong line is there. Here comes to the dashed line. Now this is about the discriminator here. This discriminator plus the loan number which is available in the loan will form the primary key for the loan payment. Now coming to the extended ER diagram features or extended features, some specialized. The first concept here is specialization. Top-down design process, especially top-down design, we designate subgroupings within an entity set that are distinctive from other entities in the set. Now coming to the depicted by a triangle component, labeled as is a, ISA, is a. Example, customer is a person. Customer is a person. Now here comes to the attribute inheritance. A lower level entity set inherits all the attributes of the higher level entity set. Now some inheritance concept we are taking, higher level or coming to the lower level. Lower level entity sets are inherited from the higher level things. Specialization example here. Now this is person to the is a, person is a. Now here comes to the employee and then customer. Now coming to the employee is a, what is actually officer is an employee at level. Same thing, secretary is an employee, some teller is an employee, the customer is an employee, and so on. Now this is about the specialization example. Here in specialization, easy is the relationship we are using especially for the purpose of specialization. Now this comes under the top-down approach. The top level things are inherent to the lower level things. The person, the attributes which are available in the person are comes to the employee. The attributes which are available in the person are comes to the customer. The attributes which are available in the employee are comes to the officer. The attributes which are available in the teller are comes to the, or some secretary comes to the all the things. For example, the secretary contains or some officer contains the attributes from, that is a salary or person ID, name, street, city, etc. All the things are inherent to the officer or teller or something. Now this is about the specialization concept. Now coming to the generalization concept. Generalization. Here comes a bottom-up design process combine a number of entity sets that share the same features into a higher level entity set. Now this is quite opposite to the previous one. Here we are coming from the bottom side and some group is there that is comes up to the this one. Here specialization and generalization are simple inversions of each other. They are represented in an ER diagram in the same way. Now this is about the thing. These are the simple inversions. That is already we discussed about the specialization. That is just like a top-down approach. Comes to the generalization. This is a bottom-up approach. These are the simple inversions. Now here comes the terms of specialization and generalization are used interchangeably. Just we are using these two in the interchangeable manner. Now comes to the aggregation. It is also a very important concept in this entity relationship diagrams. Consider a ternary relationship that is works on. Suppose we want to record managers for tasks performed by an employee at a branch. Then here comes to the one representation of this one aggregation. Here comes to this one. Here works on is there. This is a ternary relationship. It is related with the job, branch, and then employee. Now comes to the manager. For manager available, he manages some branch. Now manager is an employee and he manages one branch. That is the relationship between this one. And then comes to join to the other thing also. Now comes to the manager manages, or that is first one is works on. Employee works on. Now manager manages. Now these are the things of aggregation. We are aggregating and we are joining more than one relationships or something based on the aggregation concept. Here this is the works on is the very aggregation example for this one. Now ER diagram with the aggregation. Now comes to this one. Here we are using one symbol for the purpose of aggregation. Now comes to the job, employee, and a branch. Now here manager manages and manager performs some works. What work here he is performing means manager manages, branch Basically, he is an employee. He is doing the job like a manager. Now, this is about the aggregation in ER diagram, which specifies especially for the purpose of aggregation only. Now, coming to the ER design decisions, how we are taking some decisions based on the ER diagram design concepts. The use of an attribute or entity set to represent the object, to represent an object. Here we are using attribute or entity set for the purpose of object. Whether a real world concept is best by an entity set or a relationship set. Now, real world concepts are expressed by using entity sets as well as relationship sets. Now, basically, if you comes under the object-based model or object-oriented model, the object-oriented model can easily express the real-world things. It is purely based on the real world, how we are connecting, how we are managing, how we are getting the inheritance concept, how we are using the reusability concept like this for the purpose of things we are taking. The use of a ternary relationship versus a pair of binary relationships. Now, this is a ternary relationship is divided into a pair of binary relationships. Now, this is about the another concept for the decisions. The use of a strong or weak entity sets. How we are using the strong, how we are using the weak entity set, how we are preparing the primary key for the weak entity set, etc. Now coming to the use of a specialization and generalization, how we are using the generalization concept and how we are using the specialization concepts also specifies the decisions. Now coming to the use of aggregation. Now the combination of this one, we are performing the aggregation. Now here comes to the ER diagram for a banking enterprise. Now in this purpose, we are all using examples like a deposit, loan, and manager manages the bank, etc. Now by using all the things and by comprehending all the things, by consolidating all the things, we are preparing an ER diagram for the purpose of a bank enterprise. Now here comes to the a bank enterprise. In this one, when managers are there, employees are there, aggregation is available, and then different things, all the things which are discussed in the last slide or in this class also. Now all are combined and formed the a bank ER diagram, banking for the purpose of banking enterprise. Reduction to relation schemas, a database which conforms to a ER diagram can be represented by a collection of schemas. Here, normally a database is a collection of schemas. In the previous one also we discussed about the how many number of schemas are there, many number of relationships are there, many number of customers are there, many number of employees are there, many number of schemas which are using. Now this is a database which conforms to an ER diagram can be represented by a collection of schemas. For each entity set and a relationship set, there is a unique schema. Especially we are using a unique schema for the purpose of entity set and relationship set. Each schema has a number of columns which have unique names. Every schema we are taking it having a number of columns which is specifies the unique names. Every schema contains the unique name or unique number of things. Now coming to the representing entity sets as schemas. A strong entity set reduces to a schema with the same attributes. Now here a strong entity set directly comes to the schema, directly make as a schema with the same attributes. You don't want to change or you don't want to convert anything into the This one, a strong entity set, directly you can prepare the schema. For the strong entity set, we can directly prepare the schema. Now coming to the, a weak entity set becomes a table that includes a column for the primary key of the identifying strong entity set. Now if you are going to prepare a weak entity set, a schema for the weak entity set means, now it is the combination of primary key of the identifying strong entity set, primary key of the strong entity set, and then one column from the weak entity set, that is the discriminator. From the strong entity set, we have to find the strong entity set which the weak entity set depends on. Now you have to find that one. After finding the strong entity set, now from that one we are taking the primary key and then adding that primary key to the discriminator available in the weak entity set. Now these two will combine and form the, what is actually the primary key of the weak entity set. Now here the comes under the, already we discussed about the payment, loan number, payment date, payment amount, etc. Now this is about the schema for the weak entity set. For the purpose of weak entity set, we have to spend some amount of time for identifying the strong entity set for this weak entity set. This weak entity set compulsory depends on the strong entity set. From that strong entity set, we have to take some primary key from the strong entity set. Now here some discriminator we are taking. That discriminator we are adding. By combining all these things, we are preparing the, what is actually the called as the schema for weak entity set. Now comes to the redundancy of schemas. Now here some set of redundancies occurred in the preparation of schemas also. Example, instead of creating a schema for relationship set account branch, add an attribute branch name to the schema arising from entity set account. Now here also some set of redundancies are available for the schemas. Now here instead of creating a schema for the relationship account branch, for the purpose of account branch, we are creating additional relationships or something just to add a branch name to the account. If you add a branch name to the account, that automatically convert it into the different schema. Now this is about the important thing you are converting by using this one. Now comes to this one. Here account is there and branch is there. Here this is account branch. If you create the relationship like a account branch, your account and then branch is there. These two things are mapped and then created by using the some branch, just branch name is added to that one. For that purpose, a branch contains branch name, branch city, assets and branch. Now comes to the, these two are added, that is account as well as branch. Now this is about the account branch. Now this is about, here some set of redundancies are there. In these redundancies, based on the redundancies, we can create by combining all the things, we can prepare another table. That table automatically reduces the redundancies which occurred in this one. Now this is about the design of or entity relationship diagrams or ER diagrams design. Here in this one, in the 3 lessons of the entity relationship model, we consolidated or we discussed what are the things we are using, what symbols we are using, what are the aggregations are there or different things. Finally here that comes to the redundancy concept. Now how we are removing the redundancy are discussed in the next 2 videos of this unit. Now this is about the entity relationship model. Okay, thank you.